this is our way of life, of we go according to the Torah, because who is Jewish matters. Israel, by law, will let anyone in who is Jewish. Okay? You don't need to like everything of how it works, but there is a reality right now of how things are done. Okay? So you have several Batei Din around the world, several Jewish justice systems, that they are permitted to conduct this kind of conversion that will be accepted by the state of Israel. Anything that is accepted by the state of Israel almost completely is accepted worldwide. The problem with Africa is, first of all, people do not know Africa. This is part of my job over here, and it's why I try very hard to be a voice so that people can hear and know what's going on over here, is people think of Africa as one big blob of a place.
Most of the times when I speak to some of my friends, one of the greatest things that I see they desire is to be recognized outside Africa as Jews.
Yeah. That is really, really rough. Okay, so you have two things over here. You have one problem, which is politics, another problem that's halakha. Okay? And it's very important to differentiate between the two. Both of them are very important, but both need to be dealt with differently. There is an Orthodox conversion, conservative, reform, other types of conversions. A lot of these communities say, we are Jewish, we will not go through a conversion. I'm sorry, if you do not go through a conversion and you were not born to a Jewish mother, by Jewish law you're not Jewish. Okay? It's that simple. We can get into very, very long details of why this is, or the importance of this, but it's more than just an identity. The fact that someone wakes up in the morning and says, I'm Jewish, does not change their status. Okay? Just like if tomorrow I woke up and I decided that I am black, I am not black, right? I could live in Africa, I could understand the culture, I can speak Swahili, I can do all of these things, right? But that does not make me black, right? There is something that changes. So, when you are going through a conversion, your neshama's DNA changes. Now, you have gone from not being Jewish to being Jewish.
Okay.
If you do not go through a conversion, you are not Jewish. I am Orthodox, okay? That means I go according to what the Torah says. Okay? The Jewish holy book, that's what I go according to. So, when I'm looking at the different types of conversions, there are a lot of conversions that I do not recognize. Okay? Reform conversions, conservative conversions that were done more recently, that are basically done in a way that does not align with the Torah values that I hold. Okay? And some of the viewers here may not like to hear this because it is not a very liberal opinion. Okay, that's okay. It's like everybody asks that you respect their views. This is our way of life. Of we go according to the Torah, because who is Jewish matters. Okay, so you have communities that come and say, we were Christians, we do not accept Jesus anymore, therefore by default we're Jewish. I do not accept that premise. Okay? You have communities that say we went through a reform conversion, whether it was online or done improperly. I do not accept that. Okay? And conservative conversions, it really depends on the year. It used to be years ago that a lot of conservative conversions were actually okay. Now it's become a lot more problematic for many reasons, but that is just a part of it. Okay? Orthodox conversions are compiled of a few different things that need to happen and that are quite hard to come across in Africa, which is you have three Jewish men, okay, over the age of 13 that are strictly observing the Torah. They keep Shabbat, they keep kosher, okay, and they form a Beit Din, a justice system. And in this justice system, they are able to help bring someone through a conversion process. goes through circumcision, a lot of learning, sometimes years of learning, and a mikveh, okay, a pure body of water. And in this moment, they accept the mitzvot, okay? After that process, they continue learning. The ideal is that you have 3 big rabbis that are doing this. If those things all happened, then the conversion is good. There's other parts in this conversion. For example, like a convert cannot convert other people. Okay? They need, because this is something very personal for them. They're not allowed to convert other people. So when you look at these types of lists of rules, you say, okay, someone is going through a conversion. If they went through this conversion, they're Jewish. If they didn't go through it, they're not Jewish. That is the halakha, the Jewish law. The politics of it is because there is a lot of sensitivity of of basically the geopolitics of the Middle East, and that Israel, by law, will let anyone in who is Jewish. Okay? So, you need to be very careful. What happens if tomorrow you take a country of, I don't know, Azerbaijan, and they say, we would like to go, right now it's not so good for us over here, we want to go to Israel. Let's pay a Beit Din to come, we'll pay them each $1 million, right? And they will come, and then by law, Israel will have to let in 3 million people, right? So there is a rule, a law in Israel, that there's what's called the chief rabbinate of Israel. And they decide which conversions are accepted and which are not. So in this entire region, the conversion that is accepted is done by the South African Beit Din in Johannesburg. Okay? You don't need to like everything of how it works, but there is a reality right now of how things are done. Okay? So you have several Batei Din around the world, several Jewish justice systems, that they are permitted to conduct this kind of conversion that will be accepted by the state of Israel. Anything that is accepted by the state of Israel almost completely is accepted worldwide. The problem with Africa is, first of all, people do not know Africa. This is part of my job over here, and it's why I try very hard to be a voice so that people can hear and know what's going on over here, because people think of Africa as one big blob of a place. And because of that, they see one thing happening in one place, they say that happens everywhere. They think that Ugandans and Nigerians are the same people, okay? They cannot tell the difference because most people have never been to Africa and never will come to Africa because they are scared, they think it's primitive, they don't understand what's going on over here. Africa's beautiful, Africa's developed, there's a tremendous amount of things to see in Africa. But people will never know that because they refuse to leave their bubbles and their cities that they're in. And if you aren't willing to go and check and see what these communities are like, then you think that a community that for 100 years, like the Abu Yadaya over here in Puti, 100 years, they've been waiting for an Orthodox conversion. They did not give up because there were communities of the Abu Yadaya that went through a conservative conversion and reformed conversion, and those who didn't go through any conversion. And then you have a group over here who says, I am only doing an Orthodox conversion, and they will not be accepted, okay? And another group somewhere else that goes and says, well, we don't accept Jesus, therefore we're Jewish, okay? And people saying, they're African. The fact that they say that they're Jewish and they say that they're Jewish, for me, is the same, okay? And that's the big problem, is people don't understand what's going on over here. They're not even giving the opportunity and the chance. And it is pretty much agreed everywhere in the world, there are no good conversions in Africa, okay? And to an extent right now, unfortunately, that's true, okay? You have the conversion that I've accepted over here done by Rav Riskin, that was done for these 3 communities of the Abu Yadaya and several Kenyans in my community, okay? That I hold as a proper kosher Beit Din. And then you have a lot of other Beit Dins that come around and they tell people, they say, oh, you'll go through a conversion, you'll be accepted by everyone. And then the people are surprised that they're not accepted. And I've been in these meetings, I've been in these conferences where I've heard people say, oh, you can go through a conversion and you will be accepted by everyone. And then they try to go to Israel and they are not accepted by anyone.